Hello, this is Travis Foster. This video is specifically created for the 2017 apprenticeship, and it's a small audience. So anyway, bear with me. You know who you are. I have a very specific small audience on this one, so this is not an I can doodle. All right. So first of all, I want to go over a few things. I'm going to give you some insight on something I've been using a lot lately. This here is a Sharpie pen, and it's fine. It's a fine Sharpie pen, and I can buy 12 of these for like 13 bucks on Amazon. I'm gonna provide a link at the bottom of the YouTube video, like in the description. There's gonna be a link. All right, and then also. This is important because it doesn't bleed, and I can get some variation with it, and it's really small. And then secondly, I'm going to show you the paper I'm working with. This is the Hammer Mill color copy digital paper. It comes in reams of 500. It's 28 pounds. It says 28 pounds. It doesn't, that's the weight of the paper itself. 100 brightness. Anyway, I think this is going between 15 and 1700, $15 to $17 on Amazon, or you can get it at Office Town or Office Depot. I can't remember if it's Office Town or Office Depot, but anyway, it's great paper. It doesn't bleed, and I absolutely love that paper. So if you have time where you can grab that paper and this type of pen, you can be way ahead of the game. All right, so let's talk about these spot illustrations for just a minute. Let me close it. All right, so you can see I've got a quarter right here next to these spots. These are pretty small, and these drawings, I don't have a sketch underneath. I don't. I mean, you can. You can do sketches and put them on a light table and trace on top of them, but I keep them real organic, and I just draw. So I just draw straight on the paper, and I always make sure that my shapes are closed, and this helps when I go into Photoshop and I start to color things in. It makes it nice and easy to fill in the shapes. And if I overshoot, like if I draw something and I want to clean it up, I can erase in Photoshop, but I make sure that these shapes are closed. So for instance, if I did this shape, you can see here that this space is not closed, and so when I color it in Photoshop, it's going to bleed out. So I always make sure that my things are closed in. All right. Let's just finish this fish really quick. And all right, now, okay, let's talk about these little spot icon illustrations, okay, and why they're important. Number one, you can build an illustration, an entire illustration with various parts and put it together like a puzzle. So, for instance, I can draw a fishbowl separately, and I can, if I wanted to, in Photoshop, I could create 2 layers, and I can move this fish inside that. And I could also tweak it down where the fish was comfortable and gave it plenty of space on each side. And for instance, like if I wanted to draw a cat looking at there and I didn't like the tension between these 2 spots, let's just say there was a cat head here, okay? And I wasn't happy with the spacing between here and here. Well, obviously in Photoshop, I have the ability to move that cat over. The cat can be closer or further. And I think that's important to understand, that when I do my illustrations, a lot of times when I'm in Photoshop, I'll move things around and I'll manipulate it with inside there. It doesn't have to be a perfect drawing when you're creating the drawing itself. All right, now, what do I like about these small illustrations? Well, number one, if you're just starting out as an illustrator, and say you're making less than $10,000 a year as an artist. Okay, you're not making a living wage, and you have some other job. You're a truck driver, or you're cleaning houses or something. I would much rather you be making money as an artist doing spot illustrations for educational publishers than I would for you to, because it builds your skill set and builds your confidence, and you can move up from there. And there's lots of publications out there that can use these type of illustrations. And the reason I like black and white is because it gives me a chance to critique your work and build strength within your work. I mean, there's no sense of coloring something if there's nothing strong in the black and white. So it's got to work black and white first before we spend time on color. I know everybody looks forward to working with color, and color adds a depth to it, and it's always fun. But until your drawing is satisfactory as a black and white drawing, there's no sense in doing. All right, now let me show you something else that has helped me. All right, so there's a lady in Israel that I like her work a lot, and I saw these tools, and so I sat down and I just started drawing some tools based on her work. And obviously I make them my own. When I draw them, they become mine. And emulating is different than ripping somebody off. So we can talk about that later and go into that, but it's always good to learn from those that are doing really well. So what I did is, in order to keep this consistent, I just started drawing saws, and all these saws have something different about them. All these pencils, the same process, but different shapes, different sizes, different widths. Here's some brushes, some screws and nails, some hammers here. And it's fun because what I can do is I can go back in here and I can copy and paste in different layers, and I can move things around and actually create a pattern out of these tools. And I don't try to get the spacing right here. I'll take this shape, this drawing, and I can move it anywhere I want, and I can start, and I might have up to 20 layers as I'm building this, and I'll in one of the medium posts, I'll show you the finished illustration on how I'm doing with this black and white. But anyway, so what we've done, we've talked about a pen I want you to buy, the Sharpie pen. We've talked about the paper I want to use, and the reason I love this paper is it doesn't bleed, it doesn't spider, and it's super smooth. And when you draw with the Sharpie, depending on how you press, you can get it thick, you can get it thin, you can get it thick. And you're not limited to this pen only, but I want you to try it for 2 or 3 or 4 illustrations and get a feel for it. And then tell me what you like. It's not saying that we're going to stick with this forever. And then I'm also going to show you a series of illustrators that are working with something similar to this and making a great living. Simple stuff. Super simple and making a great living. So this is a great place to start. All right. Look, we're going to I'll be reaching out through the Medium articles. Also, email is really good. And the main thing is that you enjoy the process and experiment as you're working, and don't get boxed in. Always be open to learn something new and try something different. Okay, that's the best part about this apprenticeship. Is, well, one of the best parts is exploring options and not just doing the same thing you've been doing over and over again and expecting a different result. Okay, we're going to try some new things, and I want you to give it a shot. All right, listen, thanks so much. Talk to you soon. I appreciate you tuning in.